Alright, so the build is still underway, and as you can see here, I've got a lot of the framing going together. I started the painting. Pictures are a little out of order. Please excuse that. I don't know what happened when I imported them, but there was too many to sort. I figured this way you guys will get a little bit of a jump start on stuff. I started adding in the backboard, as you can see there. I came up with a neat idea, which I'm going to show you on my next video for all the lighting and everything else. The process has been kind of tedious. Having two boys and running a household and trying to get all this done in a quick manner has been a little difficult. But it's looking good. I'm very excited about it. Not easy. It takes time. Takes patience, and definitely it takes a controlled mind to kind of orchestrate what's going on. And money is also a big issue, as you can probably tell. Started the painting. I was using the Home Depot Bear flat ceiling paint the undersides of the paneling that was going to be installed on top. Light here, light balances. There's the bear paint, and there is some of the foam caulk. I do appreciate the heads up I got from one of the members. Don't want to use PL 900. I guess within a couple of years you'll have kind of a separation, a chemical separation between the foam and the plywood because of the chemicals that are in the PL 900. So definitely go with what's recommended for the of the foam. Here's a picture of the skyline at the Home Depot, and here's the skyline picture at my house. Kind of an idea for the backdrop. We'll see what happens.
Hello, welcome back. Today I'm going to be making some frames for my light balances, which will hang out about 16.5 inches above my layout. I didn't want to go 2 foot. I felt that 2 foot and being 18 inches high would be a little hard to get inside. So I decided I'm going to go with 17 inches, 16.5, 17. And that way I can run my LED strips on the inside. I'll have some to light straight down, which will broadcast well across the 2 foot mark. And then I'll have one that will actually aim back towards the backdrop, which will be mounted on this panel. On the backboard of the light balance, I went ahead and notched out a 1/2 inch by 1/8 inch hole on the back so that I can use that when I mount this up onto this rail. It'll actually hold the backdrop in place. Just got to make sure you put it on the right way when we're making it. I made a mistake on the other side, so now I have to fix it, modify it. I can't take it apart because the air nailer that I'm using, these have glue on them. So once they go in, it's very hard to separate, not without destroying the wood. So, like they say, measure twice, cut once. Make sure your stuff is in place before you put it together. All right, so I'm gonna set this together initially with a square and my nailer to get the strips in the right spot. And then I will come back with some screws to actually give it the rigidity that it's going to need. Once this is ready to be installed, it'll be installed at a little later date. I will have a piece of material up on top. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to go with this 1/2 inch hardy plank kind of board or backer board, whatever this stuff is. That may make a nice top. It'll be a good dust cover, as everybody seems to say it does. There's one. I've already gone ahead and measured everything. So now I have my marks. All I have to do is put it together. this lined up. I figured while I was making them, it'd be all right to make a nice video about it, seeing how there's a whole bunch out there and everybody has their own ideas on how they do things. So maybe this idea may work for you. We'll find out. Coming down this way, flipping it around, making sure it's at least somewhat square. Once I put the plywood on, that will assure. Oh, hang on. 2, 3, and 4. All right. So occasionally you hit a knot or something in the wood. Easy fix. I just bend it back and forth till this thing comes off. All said and done. Alright, I got one more to put on at the other end. I decided to go with the bigger space in the middle. I didn't want to have any transitions to keep going over with the LED lighting. So now, this last one's going to be a bit close, so I'm going to have to go probably just a hair out of picture. Let's see here. Oh, this is going to be beautiful. Look at that. Lines up like a perfect, like it was designed to be there. So let me zap this one in. There. So now that I got this framed up, this is the easy part. The harder part is putting the top on. So now this time I just have to make sure that the notch that I have created, which you can see right in there, I hope you can see it, will be on the outside bottom portion. I'm going to set my bigger screws on the top, considering that it's going to want to sink down, so this will give it more anchoring at the top of this this furring strip here, and we'll go from there. So let's start on the end. We're going to get this bad puppy lined up. There we go, that's one. And now I can use my square and we'll bring this right over and up and put pressure, hold it in place. Nice smooth edge. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. Now, I also have to keep checking to see if I've got nails left. I do. I've got a couple. Let me put some more in my gun here before I run out. There we go. Ah! It's not going to do it. I thought I was low enough. Yeah. Before I know it, I'll be there. I got enough to finish it. I just don't like running out halfway and then finding out I'm just piercing holes with the tip of my air nailer. Alright, this one here, just gonna squeeze it tight. Let's get this nice and square. Push this over right there, nice and flush. Oh yeah. 1, 2, 1, 2. Nothing shot out, nothing on the sides. This looks great. So I got one last one to do here on my end. Oh, that's perfectly square. Let's get this right in place, lined up, nice and flush. Put my pressure, hold it right in there. That's right where I want it. 1, 2, 1, 2. And there you have it. So now, I'm just going to double check my measurements here. My groove is on the outside, important, because this is where this material, this piece that I cut here is for the front of my valance. But just to show you, with that notch, this will ride right in that groove. See how it's nice and flush? When I bolt it to my furring strips that I've got mounted vertical on the layout that aren't going anywhere. Those are really solid. So this will mount right up on top of that hardy plank to hold it in place. That way I don't have to worry about it falling. I've designed this in a bunch of pieces so that we can make it modular, so I can pull it out if I were to move or have to break it down for whatever reason. I can take it apart piece by piece. One nice thing about making it modular. A lot of work, but well worth it. So on the front piece, once I'm ready, you'll see this in a future video. I'll have my valance top. This will go right up on top. This is just so I don't have to see the light. It'll hang down a little bit. It's only a 4-inch piece here, but once I paint everything white on the inside and underside, it'll be a nice fit. This one here is not the right one for this, but you get the idea. So that is it for this. The next time you see this, hopefully it'll be installed and I'll be ready to paint. I'm going to paint it when it's in and up. I'll just put my drop cloth down. Just going to use a regular latex paint with a roller and brush. Nothing fancy. And I may even just paint the back blue. I don't know why I'm going to paint it blue if I'm going to just go ahead and buy a nice mural. The 18 by, I think it comes in 8-foot rolls. So I'll do 18 in this backyard. This is the Harford Yard section that we're working in. So the backdrop, I'm looking to go down to the Harford Yard with my buddy who actually works at CSO. He can take me to the other side of the yard and I can take some photographs of what the actual tree line and the business area looks like back there. So I know Harford isn't in the back of that, but Harford will be on the other side. On this end, there's going to be another valance, and you could see the uprights that are already in place. On that particular area, I might have a little bit of Hartford showing through on that small 60-inch section. And then when we spin around in here, what I'm envisioning, I know I've got my drawing kind of out there, but I'm thinking of making a small curve here with a little bit of a river backdrop, having the trees here and around the corner. And this is the corner where it turns, and the rest of the Harford Yard kind of dissipates up towards the Springfield area. Over here, like I said, we got the Springfield area with the trees, some more trees, and hopefully we'll kind of pan this into a little bit of suburban area. Not a highly populated area until we get up in here where it's going to be the upper Springfield area, the back side of this table, if you can envision that. The TV will be gone, unfortunately. I didn't want to get rid of it, but I was thinking about it. It's going to be in my way. So I'm going to move the TV, and that will be that. And over here, the front portion, there is a zigzag that comes through this front portion, like the first, I don't know, 8 inches all the way across. This is going to be simulating a little spur where it comes off to the Palmer area. Palmer, I called it Palmer Junction, where there's a little spur line that comes down into an area here where I'll have 2 facilities. And a little further down, the tracks will come down, and I'll have some businesses here on the back wall that I can do for some switching work. And in this corner here, I'm envisioning, right now I'm envisioning some kind of a cement place, a concrete distribution area of some sort. I figure I can get a picture of something kind of hillside-ish where I can get raw materials out. I'll have some kind of a thing with a conveyor perhaps. That's one idea.
So from here, the trains will come around. We've heard a kind of an idea for that area. There'll be 2 tracks. One is going to be a continuous loop, which will go back around to the Harford Yard. And the other track will be the track that will come around here, which hopefully I'll get some kind of a lift gate, I'm thinking, or maybe a swing gate where I can make something and I can just make it so it can swing out and then come back in. What I'm concerned with is the motion. I know this isn't going to move. It's going to be bolted to the wall. And I know this isn't going to move because it's going to be strapped to that concrete pillar right there. I ain't going nowhere. But I know my luck. So I guess what I will attempt to do first is put in a lift gate. And in this lift gate area, I do envision having a bridge where the Connecticut River will be. I've got plenty of height, so I'm not worried about it hitting the ceiling or anything, but it'll be nice and easy, more convenient to get in. So the inner track will come around. This will bring us into our Greenfield, Mass area. So I'll have a facility over here, Con Edison, I call it, and it will be where we'll have some switchbacking, getting our cars in and out, and some tankers that go in and out to deliver oils and different types of other products. And then if we go to the other half down here, this will bring us down to the Brattleboro area. And in that Brattleboro area, I will have a lumber company, and I'm not sure if I'm going to call it Rex Lumber, but it's going to have a nice little switch yard in here where it can come down, and I'm going to have this whole area here, like I said, for that one property. The Con Edison facility is going to kind of be big with a siding, and then on that siding track, the main track will come in following my hand, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do because I know it's going to end right about here. My lumber company is going to be up here, and somewhere around here I'm going to have to start to cut my foam and gradually bring this down to a point where I think I'm going to have to take this section out. I'm going to end up cutting here, making this tapered, making it kind of a gradient, because this other line on this side is the beginning of going down. It'll go down to a point where it should be right about level with the bottom of the foam, 2 inches, and then it's going to make its journey all the way down, very slow, very gradual, until we get down below grade, where it'll come around. It'll be a second piece. It'll be a second lift up if I do a lift up. So the main lift up will come up this way if I do one, and the bottom lift up will go this way, which is going to be the return line down to my staging area. So that will come down about halfway through here. It'll go all the way across, turn, and by the time I get all the way to the far end down there, it should be flush with this level. At point, it'll turn around. There'll be a turnout down there. This area over here will have a little staging facility of cars. I'll have probably 5 tracks for my passenger car service for Amtrak. I'll have some staging area for the freight cars, and I'll have another spot. I believe I'm going to have it just behind the cars, so it's going to be a little farther back, but better protected from my little kids. I'll have 2 or 3 tracks behind there, just to put some locomotives in there. I don't have any plans to put lights or anything in here, but I do believe where the staging area is, it might be a good idea so I can see what's going on. But I do envision I'll have a switch or something up on my framing here. So, and this all is, believe it or not, modular. The base layer, I got 1 piece, 2, 3. The back one is 4, and there's a small piece in the corner, 5. And there's 30 inches here across and 30 across. So this is an 8 by 30, 8 by 30. And we've got 4 sections, 1, 2, 3, 4.
and each table is together. So if we ever have to take this out, the benchwork is even modular. You can take it out in sections. You can't see it here because I conveniently covered it. But if you look in between the crack here or behind, you can clearly see that there's a split in between here. So it's a big table. I'm looking at 18 feet deep by 10 foot 6 inches. It's about 128 inches from here to the wall. And then there's that 52-inch section for our little facility, which is it's going to also simulate the greenfield mass area. So the other thing I might think of putting in here will be an intermodal facility. I can probably run 1, 2, at least 4, maybe 5 tracks in there easily. Put in a nice crane for lifting up the containers and all that. Keep the tracks kind of to the back so I could put a couple of cars in front. Make it so it looks like you got a little channel in between there. So we'll see what the imagination will come up with. But this TV will have to go. One nice feature, it's in a climate controlled basement, which this is my heat source, but it doesn't really get too cold and it doesn't ever get hot down here. Not unless we turn on a furnace down here. My only fear is if I turn this on, it's natural gas. Natural gas burns, but there's moisture in that gas. And with moisture, sometimes that will settle, it'll get on my tracks. I'll be buffing my rails quite a bit, I would imagine. But I know that when it gets down, the temperature down here will get down to about 50 degrees, about, when it's cold. And that might be enough to make it sweat. Hopefully not, but we'll see. I've got my workstation right here. Right now it's just holding my tools. So all the stuff that's underneath there will be out of here. Got a nice fridge, got some cabinets to hold my trains. That's currently stocked with all of my trains. You know, I've got boxes and boxes of trains and supplies and silverware tray. I don't know why that's there, probably one of the kids. But all of my train stuff packed from the front to the back. And even on this side here, I still got a huge box of Train World stuff. And then supplies. And more supplies and tools and small stuff for doing some of the work that we're going to be doing. My electronics. I've got my timer, 555 timer thing here. So I can make some neat stuff here for the railroad. And my multimeter. But yeah, I got a lot of storage here. I got my radio system down here so I can put on some music while I'm working, kind of zone out. Kind of excited. It'll be my section of the basement, which is going to be a man cave. I'm pretty ballsy here. I've got 3 of my locomotives here, brand new. GP40, my CSX. I've got my other brand new Jeep 15T. Just got it, never even put it on the tracks, never even took it out of the box. And my MP15 AC, brand new, never programmed it. Had them for about 2 years now. So I'm super excited to have the time to put this together. I do have my Guilford train right there. I've got another locomotive underneath there, but I'm not going to dig it out this time. I do have 2 GEVOs, which will be my main train. That will be my intermodal, my manifest trains. So that one will be the one that will be mainly going down into the under storage facility, grabbing the cars I need. They'll bring them all the way back up around, come back up around. This is going to be a double track system. As you saw in the blueprint, the 2 tracks will come down and around, but only one will go down and the other side will be up. So it's going to have one directional flow, and it'll come back around with the 2 tracks. And once we get to somewhere about right here, there's going to be a turnout, and it's going to come back to one track
where it'll rejoin the track here, and it will come back up through Greenfield from Brattleboro, Greenfield, back around, and then coming over here through Springfield, back into the end of the Harford Yard, and enter the Harford Yard on the other side. Where it'll go in, I've got 2 incoming tracks. And one other thing I forgot to mention is on that continuous loop line, the other continuous loop is the outer track, which will hopefully have Union Station, not looking like Union Station is right now. I don't have the space for it, but I'm going to try to make something to make it look like that. As you can see by the drawing here, it'll come down, around. Somewhere in here I'll have a small station, and I can run 2 Amtraks, one northbound, one southbound, and kind of keep rotating them back and forth. Right now I've got 2 Rapido F40s. I've got a phase 3 and I've got some phase 4 cars. I'm looking to possibly get a P42 to run the newer cars. Got a lot of ideas. I also, believe it or not, I know I'm going to be mostly running this by myself. I don't have anybody in this area that's interested in trains. So it's kind of easy just to say, hey, I don't need any kind of circuitry in place to make it into a train set where I can have lighting and all that. So I'm going to try to do the CTC type stuff there by putting in blocks. So my next plan, when I get a moment, is to try to draw up what I'm going to need for blocks in here. I'll probably end up getting a BDL 186, or 2 of them rather, which will be able to give me segment by segment, showing me where the trains are at any given time. So even if I set one off, I can know where it's going. Right now I don't have the extra capital for all of the turnouts, the tortoise motors underneath, so I have to be ready in advance and have the main line always set to the main line so I know where my trains are going. But I do plan on having some kind of a CTC type thing with a dispatcher, etc. I'm envisioning down here we'll have a lot of my electronics. It's either I'm going to mount my electronics here, or I might mount them down here, where I might move this refrigerator, and I'm going to mount a panel in the back up on the wall. That way I can run my powers down here and keeping it at a minimum so I can feed both sides of this. I'm trying to figure out the best way to put out my main 12 gauge wire. If I'm going to run a BDL 168, I might just run 14 or maybe even, I don't know, 16 gauge wire as main tracks, and then using my 22 gauge for feeders as needed. So we'll see. I'm very excited. We'll go from there. Hope you enjoy. Hope you enjoy the video. Till next time, and as always, thank you for watching.